Hello, this is Alex, welcome to Boomstick Gaming, and my full review of the trance-inducing rhythm shooter roguelite BPM bullets per minute. Shooting your way through a sequence of procedural dungeons filled with hell's abominations without dying is one thing, but when you can only fire and reload to the beat of the music, things really get quite a bit more challenging and a little strange. Bullets per minute can be somewhat tough to find its gameplay flow at the start, since your natural inclination in a retro arena style shooter is to blast away like a madman, or an angel lady in this case. You can't quite do that here, since the game will not allow you to shoot or reload if they're not on the beat or the offbeat of the music playing, which is shown with those arrows moving towards your crosshair. The weapons harmonize with this mechanic as well, and different ones will have slight variances to their firing and reloading, like having to prime the gun after shooting or having to hit reload multiple times to actually reload. Enemies will be firing on the beat as well, and some even have timing-based AoE attacks that add even more onto that overall rhythmic theme. Through the gauntlets of micro rooms filled with things to slaughter, you'll be coming across a few ways to buff up your character to improve your chances of survival, at least until you die, requiring you to start again from scratch. There are shrines you can pay money to increase your core stats, which honestly can be sometimes easy to miss. There are 4 armor slots that give you numerous passive effects that can sometimes synergize together or allow you to access secret nuggets on the map. There are shops to buy weapons and items from, and lastly, there are libraries, and just like the ones in real life, they allow you to acquire new otherworldly incantations and destructive spells. Each run you attempt will require roughly 70% raw gameplay skill and knowledge, 30% luck on how good your build happens to play out, which is honestly a pretty fair balance for the rogue genre. Some attempts might fail epically right at the start, but some where you get a solid loadout going and get into that methodical FPS trance will really make you feel like a disc jockey of death. Outside of the handful of unlockable characters, a few persistent starter ability upgrades for each, 2 difficulties, and an optional challenge mode, a successful run in BPM will take roughly 20 to 50 minutes depending on how OP your build is or not, but it will take you quite a few, if not a few dozen of attempts to see it all the way through to that final boss. With the repetitive by design nature of the game, the level design of most of the core battle rooms could use a few more dynamic or interesting layouts, since many are mostly just fairly flat arenas with enemies plopped all over. This does sometimes halt that feeling of wanting to do that just one more run, but the great music and gameplay does help offset that for the most part. Now, a personal preference on this next one, but I found the artificial mushy filter they went for with the graphics to really only obscure what otherwise was a cool artistic style. Other than that, you might end up really enjoying or not enjoying the rhythmic nature of the game, but if you stick with it and get the hang of it, it does make for a pretty solid roguelite shooter. Falling just shy of an epic ballad, BPM bullets per minute is well worth your time, but might leave you wanting some of the underlining mechanics, style, and unpredictable rogue elements to be fleshed out just a little more. Those were my overall thoughts from playing bullets per minute, and if you want to stick around after that final score you probably just skipped to anyways, let's now take a quick look at how it controls. General movement and jumping are as fluid as it looks, and are not tied to the beat mechanic whatsoever, which was the right call. Dodging has a short cooldown and can't be done on the same beat as another action. By holding down that same button, you can then sprint as well. This gun type can shoot on the beat and the offbeat, and requires 3 hits of the reload button to actually reload. You then have your active abilities and spells, pretty straightforward. Then you can see here the penalty for trying to mash out shooting or reloading, not adhering to the beat, it just flat out won't work off those beats, and will reduce your score multiplier for doing so. Each gun feels a little different, and once you find that groove with the rhythmic flow of combat, overall BPM is pretty responsive to play and excels in the controls department. And with that wraps up everything I had to say about BPM bullets per minute, and now let me know your thoughts on it from what I showed off, or if you think this is something you might be able to get into. If you happen to like my style of review, consider sticking around on the channel, and as always, this has been Alex from Boomstick Gaming. I'll see you next time.